What is up, winning team, and welcome to part 11 of this series. This is crazy. And we are now moving on to, I believe, a new prompt. If you want to know what this whole series is about, check out the video in the description box below. Check out the first intro video. I give you the explanation. Don't go getting things out of context when you haven't bothered to hear the explanation of why I'm doing this, because that's just so freaking ignorant, isn't it? Let's get straight into it. So, the ladies now moved on to a different prompt. This is a bunch of ladies that were just from different cults discussing their experiences in terms of being a woman in particular and the misogyny that they experience. So this question was, for the people where this is all you ever knew, did you clock the misogyny early on? Did you clock the injustices towards women? Was it just a part of your reality? When you noticed it, did it start to want you to get out? Did it start to want you to get out? So the lady from Mormonism had said that it hit her at puberty because at first she thought that being sister wives sounds really fun. Afterwards, being sister wives didn't sound very fun at all when she got to her puberty stage. One of her biological sisters, her older sister, was actually one of her was her sister wife, I think. Yeah, it was her sister wife. And there actually was a lot of issues also just with the like kind of incestuous elements, because like her not only was her okay, confusing. So the guy has her and her older sister as a sister wife. He also has his half-sister as one of his sister wives. All very strange. And so somebody brought up the topic of incest, and this actually got crazy because not only are they aware of that, they blood test them to make sure that the babies will be okay, because there was issues with so many stillborn babies. So they're like actually even doing testing, like to make sure they can continue these practices. Like, it's actually insane. And also she mentioned the fact as well that like there started to be these elements of like jealousies and things like that, which is natural, right? You would expect that. Then our Hasidic Jewish lady, and by the way, I'm so sorry not to use their names. I just was barely remembering who was with what group. She said she didn't even consider. So basically, she said it took her having 10 children, I guess, and to kind of wake up and realize a lot of these women had 10 kids. I've never been more put off than having loads of kids than right now. She said she took her having 10 children. She got divorced, by the way, at the age of 40 with her 10 kids. And she didn't even, well, we'll come to that. We'll come to what happened when they left. Because the stories are kind of sad. She didn't even consider other types. They didn't even, basically their version of Judaism, the way they saw it, is all the other types of Jewish people they didn't even class as Jews. They were like the fake version. So it took a long time for her, because she felt like when she could see the other, like this is what I'm understanding anyway, and she could see the other women practicing, to her it didn't really occur like, oh, this is definitely that this is a problem, because they're the problem. That's why they think they are, but we're the ones who are like really in the know. That's also a very common manipulative tactic in general with a lot of these groups. The Islamic lady, the lady from well, she's not Islamic anymore, but she came from the extreme fundamentalist Islamic cult, and she said she felt something was off since she was about the age of 3, and she was seeing the different I relate to that, because I have told you guys before that a lot of things were off for me about a lot of things that I saw. Obviously I wasn't in a cult, at least not at this point. I was kind of in a somewhat cult when I first went to university, but we very quickly got ourselves away from that, praise Jesus. And so she kind of was always noticing something was off. And also particularly the thing that really was highlighted to her was the fact that she could see clear differences between the treatment between her brothers and herself, and she just didn't feel that was fair. Let's move on to the next prompt, because that's where I've got next, and it kind of links in with what we just had, which they were asked, what made you finally escape? This for me is the bit that I resonate with the absolute most of all of everything that is being said. And quite simply, the ladies have spoken quite a lot about how the idea of having a daughter and them having to live this life. She would rather die than watch her daughters go through this and make them do it, knowing she brought them into this. This was one of the girls who was from one of the Mormon groups. This is also my sentiment about having kids. Like, there's nothing anybody can say to me to convince me as to why it's worth it. Because the reason why I don't want to have them is I don't want them to have this experience of this life. Like, I don't want them. And it's so funny how, even though these women are from different groups, you'll see that this is something that comes up more often, right? The Hasidic Jewish lady, she says, when leaving, I think I mentioned this earlier, her father actually went in support of her husband. She lost her older children, She took her first 6 children, but the rabbi kept her youngest 4. She now no longer even believes in the afterlife. And they all started to joke about this afterlife thing. And this is what makes me sad, because it's like you end up, because of what I'm not going to even say what I'm thinking, but like, this is exactly what the enemy wants. He wants us to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the people who do this, they become so far from godliness that of course in any of these scenarios, this is how you would feel. And this just makes me sad anyway. But I completely validate this. I don't think the ladies have done anything wrong, and I don't think there's anything wrong with their perspectives whatsoever. I would just like to say that very, very clearly. The Christian lady, or the extreme fundamentalist Christian woman, said that knowing she would raise girls that would condone being beaten by her husband because she was being beaten. She feared dying so much she was prepared to lose God instead. This is what I'm saying, right? So she knew that it was so acceptable for her to be experiencing violence from her husband, right? That she was prepared. She couldn't live with the idea that that's the example she wants to set for her daughters. And this is something else that I feel. I'm like, how can I, if I myself already not even sure if it's believable that, you know, the male community can actually have respect and whatnot, why am I going to bring my child into this world to watch the traumatizing events taking place with their mother, man or woman, boy or girl? You know what I'm saying? Where are we? Yep. So the Mormon lady, the one who before was saying about how she left. She said, oh yeah, she says you are mentally so far gone through the marriage, but you have to just go through this for God. Okay, why did I mention that? That's not how she left. Okay. I guess she's just saying that. What made you finally escape? Oh, she got to the point where she was so mentally far gone. Like, it's like, I gotta get out of this thing. I think it was her also who said that she felt like if she's gonna, either way, she's gonna be spending her whole life pregnant. She may as well not be pregnant here if she's gonna be, all she's gonna be is pregnant in the afterlife anyway. And I was like, fair dues, Donna. Fair dues. The Mixum lady got really interesting because although her whole story arc had started out with, I think this is the most important of these videos, you know, this video. I think her whole cult had started out, like I said, it was all self-help. It was all, we want to succeed together. It's all, like she said, kind of similar to things you'd hear from the likes of Tony Robbins. By the end of it, she discovered, shock, guess what? It was a sex cult. Yes, it was indeed a sex cult. She actually had got branded. They all got this branding, which she then now realized after the fact, she got the leader's initials branded onto her. And she also then realized that he had this like executive women that he used to work with who turned out that they were just his harem, his sex slaves. Because men have so much respect for us, don't they? They just have so much respect. The ex-fundamentalist Islamic woman was talking about how anything any woman did had to be approved by a legal guardian. So you don't even get to graduate from being a child. You're just still, we tell you what you get to do. If you had been found trying to leave, it could equal death or torture for life. That's what happened. So if they found you trying to leave, you could be killed or tortured for life. Also for her, her reason for leaving was thinking of the future children. She always wanted to be a mother, but couldn't be one there. Feel you, sister. Feel you. If I felt like this, I would have to feel like I was in an environment that I felt like was okay for my children, for me to have children. In that case, I would have children in a heartbeat. But until that day comes, the risk of death was worth it. See this? They've been pushed to the absolute edge of like their insanity with all of this. And it's so heartbreaking because these women, a lot of them, they tried to do their best. They tried to follow things. They endured so much, right? Just to get it thrown back in their face. And this is what I'm saying. It's like, as a woman, if you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you are a good woman, then you're going to be taken advantage of. You're going to be taken advantage of. You're going to be trampled all over. You're going to be, you know what I mean? If you love freely, it's bad for you, right? And if you're a bad woman, then you're going to be the blame and the excuse for why men don't want to show up and do things the way they're supposed to do things properly. And it's just like, oh, for goodness sake. And so finally, they started to talk about what can women do who want to leave. And I don't have loads of notes on this. So I'll just comment on this one bit that I'll finish here, because she started to talk about emotional abuse. And I feel that she defined it as someone making you trust them more than yourself, someone making you distrust yourself or feel bad about yourself. And I never really thought about that. And again, a lot of these tactics, because we're women and because we have feelings and we have emotions, and this isn't just in these cults, although it's more prevalent in these cults, we get like villainized. So like if somebody's being emotionally, the easiest person to actually emotionally abuse and get away with it is a woman, because you can just write it off. Oh, she's on her period. Oh, she's going through this. Oh, she's blah, 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 right? You don't have to be held accountable to anything else, because you can just say, oh, of course she's doing this. She's a woman. Of course, she's just in her feelings. She's just this, she's just that, she's pregnant, right? Because we're pregnant all the time. It seems so, all these women, all they do is pregnancy. Right? So, and I know that it might seem, I'm going to do a proper like outro after this, but you can see how in all of these scenarios, in all of these experiences, and these are women who are alive today, these are women who tried their best of all different types of, ages, races, nationalities, you name it. It's not like there's one little whatever area. It's like across the board in different places. I mean, they were all in different states in America, I think, because they were all in America. And I'm judging on their accents. Their accents were all quite different. A lot of them are quite different. This is now. This is now. This is here and now. This isn't a story of another universe where, these things don't happen, where this is some rarity. A lot of these things, even though here we're talking about the extremities of it, a lot of these things are very much alive and real today amongst us as women. That's why I said I can relate to some of these things. A lot of them I haven't experienced in the same extreme, to the same level of extremities. And I honestly believe it's because I have God and I have Jesus, because I would have been the same damn idiot involved in some of this stuff. You know what I mean? And when I say idiot, I'm not saying these women are idiots, but I'm saying that we feel like them when we are trying to do the right thing. And it gets thrown in your face, because that's how I feel like what the wastage was of my life was. Like, I wasted the entirety of my existence up until this exact moment as we're here speaking, trying to do the right thing, all for all of it to be thrown back in my freaking face every single time. Now, if I now flip the script and become some kind of, demonic woman, that's going to be the wrong thing, right? But no, you know what I should do instead? I should gamble all over again. And this is what I'm trying to say to you guys, that, I'm going to do a proper outro anyways, but this is what the ladies said. I feel so much for them and everything that they went through. It's just so unfair, but it's the realities. And it's the realities, like, it might not be that we've all been in a cult, but a lot of the ideals, the ideas, the things that these women go through, the things that we've covered are very much alive and prevalent, I hate to say it, in religion. And it's one of those underlying things that, of course, it's not going to be spoken about because we're women. And that's the crazy irony of it all. All the bad women get all the attention because they're the ones that are used to give excuses for why the rest of us have to be treated like this. So that's what I have to say about that, you guys. That's all I have to say. I'm going to do a proper conclusion video, because I also want to include my experience when I was in a cult for a little tiny bit. and what that was like from my experience, and also just kind of wrap up all the thoughts of this. Also, I don't like the idea of finishing on 11 videos. Let's do 12, because 12 is also very much a biblical number. Anyways, if life's a game, let's play to win. I'll see you guys in the outro. I guess it's an outro. I don't know what you want to call it. The final video anyway, where I'll just kind of wrap everything up, tell you guys a little bit about the time I was in a cult, and we shall be done with this series. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. I always forget to say that. God bless you all. Because if life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one.